over 18 inches and something like that, so that I don't have to scrounge through
we're
it.
live on Facebook.
Oh, we're live. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Hey, welcome, Facebook. We've just been talking with Jane Cely about these sweet little bishops that she's done. And I'm going to go back on Instagram. You can have to put up with this for a second. So we were admiring Kathy Dykstra's pattern in the latest issue of Classic Sewing magazine. And it has, I mean, you call it vertical smocking, but really it's just like a pleated insert
I think
that's
if you
turned vertically,
if you turn
right?
the page, I think it shows it on the next page, kind of, or somewhere, kind of, there it is, kind of close up. Because if you turned even mine this way, and of course mine's made for a bishop, but it's the same idea.
I'm going to go to
and it's just-
overhead, and you can show it
Oh, okay.
on, flipping around to face you. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go.
Yep. And now they can see that on
So
there.
if you turn this way, and of
Right.
course it wouldn't be that pattern, but it gives the idea of something like this.
I love that.
And it and then that just has
the threads have been taken
the threads
out,
have been
right?
taken out. And then she did a really pretty bottom on the white one that has that looks like double feather stitching and then lace.
All right, we're going to go right close to that picture. There we go.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go.
That's
Yeah.
real pretty right there.
So several of the garments that Jane brought with her today have lace, fancy bands, lace insertion going vertically, and they'll be fun to show you those. All right,
So
everybody working? We're all good. Good.
technical difficulties.
We're trying. We're trying to be cool, calm, and collected here.
I'll move these out of the way.
So, for those of you who don't know, Jane is a retired math teacher, right? Math?
I taught
Yeah.
middle school math for 25 years.
Wow.
But and I still enjoy kids. I've subbed. I've been retired for about a little over 15 years, but I still sub. I enjoy going to a couple of schools. There are a couple of girls who I actually taught when they were in middle school, and now I sub for them sometimes. So
wow.
it's kind of fun. And
That's
I have grandchildren that are in that age group, so it's kind of nice to kind of know what kids are doing. You know,
That's right.
They're different than when I started teaching, but they're still fun. So, but
So-
this is what I really like to do.
I don't. Can you see these dresses back here? They're so beautiful, and I'm trying to decide where should we start. I mean, I want to start with lavender.
Okay. Well, these two are actually the same pattern.
Okay,
It's
I'm
the
gonna show this.
it's the lace dress by Cherry Williams.
Cherry Williams.
And it's just a dress. I've made it 3 times, and this is the 3rd time I've actually made it. And it looks like it would be kind of a hard thing to do. It really is not hard. It's real time consuming, but it's not a hard dress to make. And this one uses, I used Moline lace, and then the fabric is white Swiss voile, and the slip is just a muslin, and I did put a flounce on the bottom to give it a little fullness. I've never done that before. Now, basically, I follow her pattern, and I have to say that this is a pattern that you most definitely want to make a muslin
Scoot
of at
in
least
this way just a tiny bit, then they can see here.
Make a muslin of the bodice, because this has no seams in it. It when you lay out the pattern, it's the front, the sleeves, and the back, all in one
I'm gonna
piece.
turn it around and show
And
you.
so there's no seams, and then it has the opening here that I use snaps on so that I didn't have to make buttonholes and lace. But you have to make certain that this is going to fit the child. So before I constructed this dress, I made the bodice, fitted it on the child to make sure I had the right size, and then I knew I was good to go.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question, because when you say you made a muslin out of this, what do you mean by that? Did you actually sew the lace?
No,
No, what'd you make the muslin out of?
out of muslin.
I mean, but how did you, this is the there's actually a pattern piece.
There is a pattern.
Okay. There's
If I can put my hand on it,
yeah.
I'll show it to
Okay.
you. I'll show you. Well, I think I might have put.
So you made it out of a piece of fabric because
Yes.
there is a pattern piece to make sure it fits.
Okay.
They want to know what pattern, please.
It's this. It's an old pattern, and but it's still around. It's called. Let's see, which way do I put this?
We can go. We can do a close up, but I'm going to show Instagram first. This is by Cherry Williams, and we do not have this pattern. I'm sure that you can find this still. It's called Antique Lace Dress and Slip. Now I'm going to go to the overhead. Let's put it this way, and we can show here.
Okay, and I can put it
Okay.
facing me.
Yeah.
All right, this is actually.
Where's my? We're gonna get our act together in a minute. We're gonna get our act together in a minute.
All right, this if you can see
There we go.
this,
Oh,
this
I gotcha.
is the pattern right here, and this is a size 4. This one, this particular piece is for a size 4. So it's one piece, and really that's all you have to just cut a piece of that out of muslin, and sew the shoulder seams together, and try it on the child, and you know if this fits. And then when I deviated from the pattern a little bit, just because I feel like lace gets real.
Go back here.
Like the sleeve. The sleeve doesn't have anything under this. It's just lace. And lace can get real, like, I call it loosey-goosey kind of. And so I decided that I would put something behind the bodice to stabilize it a little bit. And you cannot tell it. I mean, you can see there's my hand underneath it. But from here to the points where the, I think they call those, I call them triangles, they're gauntlets, I think, to where they go in, there is a piece of just inexpensive organza.
Oh,
I mean, just washable.
Was that a polyester organza?
Yeah, just a polyester organza.
You cannot see it.
And you cannot see
at
it.
all.
And so what I did was I took a rectangle of organza and my faithful blue pen, and I traced this on it. I traced this on the thing. And then you just really start with your lace in the center, and it does, you need to use a 1 inch or a 1 1/8 inch width of lace. And just start with the first one and sew above the neckline, and then, you know, down to where I mark where it should stop. I draw a line across here so that all of these are kind of in line, and that's where my organza probably was below that until I finished. And then I just started doing lace and went a distance this way to the right and a distance to the left, and kept going. And once you put the lace down, you need to know the length that the dress is going to be. So this first piece that I put in right here, I just let it, when I got to the bottom where my line was, I stopped and backstitched, and then just let the lace hang down.
So you had a whole bunch of little pieces of lace all over the place.
I think this dress has, and it'll tell you how many, but it according to your lace, it doesn't always come out. It's more or less, and I found it's usually more. I think this one had, I think it had 31 of these triangles in it. And then I did mass production to cut those. I just folded my fabric and, cut maybe 4 at a time.
Of the triangles?
I made a triangle, the length I needed it, because I knew the length, and I did it longer than I knew it would be, because I was going to go back and scallop the bottom. So.
Well, you got a lot of comments. They're loving this. Cherry Palma says, Jane is such a wonderful lady and a joy to watch.
They're sweet.
Ann Dixon says, this dress has been on my bucket list forever.
Oh.
Thanks for sharing.
So,
absolutely gorgeous.
And do you have the pattern? You know, does anybody carry that pattern? I don't know.
Well, I put a link to one on the comments, but Sharon Better says peanut butter and jelly kids carry that pattern.
Good. That's great.
Yeah, and I think I'm trying to cut my phone off now. Sorry.
This is real.
She didn't read the sign that said turn your phone off, so I haven't turned mine off either.
But Now where was I? I was telling you about the. So anyway, I go after the bodice is put together to put the shoulder seams together. It's just
Do you want to pull it off?
yeah, I can
Let's
pull it
off.
off. There's
How
a
sweet this is.
there's just
Honey,
a piece of lace that is joined at the top for the shoulder seams. In other words,
Okay, I'm gonna
oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
do that.
So there's
There we
just
go.
a piece of lace right there.
Mhm.
And then this is the first one that I've made that I actually put sleeves in. And this lady wanted lace sleeves for her child, and she requested blue ribbon in it. So I did take.
It's pretty with it.
It is. It's real sweet. And actually, on Regina's "Come Sew with Me," there's a picture of the little blonde girl wearing this at the beach with the. I just posted it last night.
So cute.
It is cute.
It is cute.
And the little girls like the twirl factor. I made this for my granddaughter, and she wore it several times. But it's real time consuming, but it's not hard to make.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I've made it, I figured out something.
Right. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, it really it does. It gets.
Is it a full? It's probably a full circle, right? Oh yeah.
Well, just
Look at
about.
that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But
Wow.
this time I decided I'm going to make this skirt faster to do, and rather than doing the traditional method of putting the lace, a little bit, laying it on and sewing it, but leaving a little bit of fabric to turn back and then re-sewing again, and that makes you have to do 2 or 3 passes on each of these. Well, I didn't do that this time. I thought, they don't wear this so much that I feel like it's going to tear, and I feel like it's real secure. So when I cut the gauntlet things out, the triangles, and I made my pattern out of like poster board so that it would be, it would be heavy, and I drew it and then put a ruler beside it. And I used my rotary cutter and cut it so that I didn't have any little harries. And I butted the lace next to that straight edge.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I zigzagged it with a tiny zigzag, one pass. And
You're
it worked.
kidding me.
No,
You
and
did
it worked.
that by butting them together?
Yes, I did. I certainly did.
Wow.
And the trick is cutting this with the rotary cutter.
So it's completely
it's
straight.
completely straight, and you don't have any little harries.
Wow.
Because as compared to, this is the one I made my granddaughter several years ago, and
This-
she's a redhead, so and she wanted like all little girls, she wanted purple. So this is
Yeah.
really, I think it's called lilac. Is it muslin? It's not.
Oh, it's a Swiss muslin?
It's a Swiss muslin.
Yeah.
And so on Dorothy's, and you can see because some places I have gone back and trimmed, but you can see
I'm
right
gonna
here.
I'm going to go overhead
Oh,
for
okay.
a second.
Absolutely stunning, and what a great presentation.
But-
Oh.
But
Aw.
now I'm almost embarrassed to show this because somebody that does heirloom, this is not finished. But nobody sees it from the outside.
It's all right.
Okay.
Hey, we're real here. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
okay.
Let's get real.
So, in other words, I had sewn this on,
Right.
and you can see this. I think at one point I went in and started trimming this, and then I said, I probably got pressed for time because it was probably Easter and she needed to wear it. So I said,
Oh, this
okay,
is
just
for
wear
your
it.
granddaughter.
Mm,
Oh,
this
yeah,
was-
yeah.
yeah.
You-
And-
we know that.
And so I
Yeah.
probably have trimmed it, but it normally this is the traditional way. You would sew it on with some fabric behind, and then go back and press this,
Right.
and then zigzag again on
Right,
this.
right.
Well, Dorothy's just hasn't been finished properly on the inside, but it looks real good on the outside. That one is finished properly, but I just decided, gosh, this is going to take forever to, do all that, and so I think it's just as secure.
So you have organza
Organza.
under here too. That gives that just enough
Let me
body.
unbutton this, and you can kind of
But
see.
I love this. So I'm going to go back over here for a minute.
Let me turn this.
How about this slip being ecru or ivory at the top and then lavender at the bottom, so you really can't even see the slip. when it's under the dress, because this part is under where it's all lace. I
Well,
love that.
I have most of the people I sew for, they say, will you make a slip? And I say, yes, I will, because these fabrics are very sheer, and they really just prefer
and
them to
even
have a
with
little
sheer,
coverage.
A sheer slip under a sheer, it's enough coverage.
Yeah,
that
it
it's
is.
not like
Yeah, and
totally see-through.
and I usually ask, do you want to see I asked my daughter-in-law, do you want to see the lilac under this or not? I said, it's going to look like a little sundress under it. And she said, no, I just like it to be, light. So I just did, something out of a real soft muslin. But you can see on the back of this,
Okay, I'm going to go
and
overhead.
and it really, you really can't see it, but everywhere my hands are, there is that organza, and it stops right here. But it keeps that lace from being, it just gives it some stability, and you can still see my hand through it. So,
Well, Pat has a question.
what?
She said, did you also use organza behind the sleeves?
No,
Okay.
no.
Go ahead.
On the sleeve one, no. That is just lace. That's just lace. I did not. I only put it on just in the bodice area.
You could use it if it would it would make it poofy, but
Yeah, if you want, because you can see these sleeves don't, I mean, they are kind of, I mean, they can be tightened and all, but if you put organza in it, probably would give it a little more body. I didn't, but that's a good idea.
it's a sweet little sleeve though. Is that
Yeah.
the sleeve that's in the pattern?
Yeah, it's
That's
the sleeve
cute.
that's in the
Here's
pattern.
another question. Should cotton or organza get washed before using?
That wasn't cotton, and
It wasn't cotton organza. This was, I didn't use organdy.
Organdy.
I
It's
didn't
cotton
use
organdy.
and it's just,
it's super sheer. It's
Inexpensive.
Inexpensive.
Polyester.
Like
Polyester,
polyester organza.
and no, I did not wash it. I mean, it's not going
Well, it's
to
not
shrink.
going to shrink. No.
It's not going to shrink. And it doesn't, I mean, it really,
I don't think I'd want to use cotton organdy.
It would
under. I think it would be
scratch.
too, it's scratchy.
yeah. But,
And be a little bit stiff, I think.
but anyway, and then in the back, of course, the pattern suggests using buttons, but the directions are very clear on how to do this placket in the back, and it's really just a
Okay,
piece
I'm
of
gonna
lace.
do this
Oh,
again
okay.
so they can see
We
it.
got another question.
What's that?
Do you join the laces together first and then back it with the organza?
No. I put the piece of lace right here on this line, the center line, and zigzag each side, and then no.
So you actually, well, let me ask you this. Do you draw this on a square of organza and then not cut out your sleeve? You don't cut out the neck and armhole.
I don't cut
yet.
anything out.
You just
no.
have one big rectangle piece of organza, and then you draw on your pattern piece, right?
My piece of organza would probably be about, the
Yeah.
top of it would be right here, and the bottom would probably go lower than this, but I would have a line drawn where the end of the bodice is right here.
Right.
And then I do draw not necessarily the lines that I'm lining up with, but I'll draw the center line and then, center my lace here. And just so that I'm keeping everything vertical, every now and then I do draw vertical lines about an inch apart. That doesn't mean your lace is going to line up with those exactly, but at least you'll know you're going straight, so you don't get wonky with your lace. But like I say, I've had this pattern. Well, people that live in the Augusta area would remember the sewing gallery that used to be out in Martinez. And when they went out of business, I was still teaching school, and so the pattern was probably half price. I go in and get I got patterns, and it has sat until about, I guess I made the first dress probably about 6 years ago. And then when my granddaughter got old enough to have one, I made one for her, and then I made one this year. So, I mean, it's a fun dress to make, and it just takes a lot of lace.
Yeah.
A lot of lace.
We think it's
maybe,
fun. You all want to make one.
Maybe that size has about
Yeah.
30 yards of lace in it. It's a lot of lace.
Yeah.
So, and it does need to be an inch to an inch and an eighth wide. But going back to this placket deal,
right,
I
I'm gonna
just
go back
used
way.
okay. I just used there's an extra piece of lace that just folded over, and so there is a double thickness, and of course it's got the organza, of course, in between it, and I just used clear snaps so that it just lines up,
Right.
and that works well. So, but once you get
That's pretty.
the bodice done, you have it looks like a car wash, with those long
Oh.
things hanging down, and you just start going in and sticking the gauntlets in. And I would always sew from the top to the bottom, on each one.
Right.
And then when you finish, you go back, and it might not be even at the bottom, but find the shortest part and then go scallop from there, and
yeah.
measure down to make sure it's going to be right. You just
So
have
let's
to.
lay the scallops out, and I'm going to go to overhead again so they can see. So then
I put it
because
on a lace shaping board.
weren't. Oh, you did
I did this
Yeah.
on a lace shaping board,
Yeah. just to get the right shape.
To get the shape, I did it. I pinned it.
And then
and
you shaped your laces.
I shaped
around
the
it.
lace, and
Yeah.
then I went back and added the gathered
right.
lace to the bottom. So
Man,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
it's just time consuming, but it is fun to do. And I mean, I kind of like a challenge, and so I thought, I read the I would, if you decide to make it, I would definitely read the directions really, really clearly a couple of times and mark things in it. I mean, I figured out sometimes it's worth the time to read and make sure you understand
I'm
it.
going to put this under here and
You
show
know,
how
before.
cute this is together. I love the way this looks with the ivory at the top. It's
But-
so pretty.
But this pattern goes from a size 3 to a 10-12. And I will have to say, the first one I made for a girl in Atlanta. And it was probably the hardest one of the three because she was bigger than a size 12. She was an older girl, and so I had to take a bodice dress and kind of use the
Yeah.
basic
Yeah.
thing for a 14, but then I had the directions so I could do this. So I adapted
Make
it.
a lot of alterations. That would be
Yeah,
that would be
I just
difficult.
adapted, but I did make a muslin out of just regular muslin fabric to
right.
make sure that it it would fit her. But
Would you use a voile also?
Actually,
Yeah.
this dress is voile.
and this one, that one is
This
voile.
one is voile.
Yeah.
This is white Swiss voile,
Yeah.
and this one is Swiss muslin.
That color is no longer available.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
So we're trying to find another option.
well,
We have the orchid pink and voile.
don't they have the orchid pink and voile, but also, isn't there a Nelona?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lavender and
Yeah.
Nelona too.
Yeah, and you could
Yeah.
use a batiste, I mean, both of those are 100% cotton, and really neither one of those wrinkle real bad.
Right.
They're, and I
Well-
guess if you really wanted to make it out of something, you could use Swiss batiste, but I think if I'm going to do that, I want a real heirloom dress.
Yeah.
I would kind of go for
That dress is voile. Now
This
here's
is
another
voile.
one that we should, let's bring that one out and show because that's super gorgeous. So this is the one we call Lily Pink. This
Yeah, this
voile
is
is called
Lily.
Lily Pink.
Yeah. What are
I'm
we
going to
do?
hold
What-
it right here so
okay.
you can talk about it. And
All
then
right,
we might
well-
take it off in a minute.
Well, this one, it was for the basic pattern. I used
Come a little bit this way so they can see on
oh.
here. No, you're fine.
I did. Let's see where. No, I used this pattern. Okay, for just the basic bodice of this, I have to have a pattern. I can't sew without some shape to go by. I use the collars, etc. Bodice dress to get the shape of this. And once again, when I'd make it in a block. The Gale Dome method. If you get Construction 101, you're gonna learn all this. I mean, I was fortunate enough to take many of her classes, and I didn't know anything about sewing in a block. But now I do collars and bodices and everything in blocks, and then cut them out. But I used a piece of the organza again in a rectangle and arranged my laces, like I wanted. I knew, where I drew the neckline and kind of where the bottom would be so I could, figure out where we wanted things. And then I did the vertical lace and then did the band around here and then trimmed the lace, of course, right there, and then added entredo, and that's Swiss beading, and then the entredo that's on the beading, and then I added another piece. And
Oh, so
actually,
it looks double. That's cute.
it's
the way it
doubled
looks.
right there.
Uh-huh.
And one reason I did that is because the second piece has that waistcloth, and since I was joining, the slip of this dress is joined right here. It doesn't have a separate slip up here. This little girl is she's three and a half, I believe. So it was kind of okay to not have any. She was okay to. It was modest enough for her, I guess you'd say, and so I just joined the slip here so that there would be no color up here or anything.
Let's pull it. Let's pull it off and show, because that's pretty neat. Ooh, this is pretty. Oh my goodness.
And the
colors
back
are amazing.
and the back of it is just like the front. It's the same design and everything, and then with a little bow, and there is a little snap down here at the bottom. But I did put buttonholes on this one in buttons. But
now that one has organza under it also,
yes,
right?
it does.
Yeah.
It has organza all the way down to right here. And I just, like I did on the other dress, I just stitch it in vertical rows and, just kind of draw it off.
So
and
I'm going
make
to
a
go to the
picture.
overhead and can turn it around to face you and then show that way they can, oh yeah, that's pretty.
And then the
pretty.
sleeves on this are just, it's just, I don't know. I think
Is it just a strip? I mean,
it is a straight strip. It's a straight
It
strip.
doesn't curve up on the shoulder or anything.
No, it doesn't curve at
Yeah.
all. It's just, this was, let's see, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 pieces of lace put together that is the same order of the laces that are in the very bottom of the fancy band. And the way I came up with that, we kind of started with this what I call angel lace, and then added.
See if they can see the tiny little angels on here.
I can't keep up with all the comments. Gorgeous, beautiful, breathtaking, we're drooling.
Oh.
Well, they're sweet.
There
This
is a question. They're asking about the buttonholes. Is there a trick to doing it in the lace?
Pray. Because I promise you, every time when I get a dress finished and I get ready to make the buttonholes, I know, okay, I think myself into something's going to go wrong. And I probably on one of those 3 buttonholes, I had to pick it out and start over. And I hate.
Do you not read the signs?
Oh,
But no, I wish I knew a trick. I will say that and I hope that I get the class, because one person at the Saga Smocking convention in October, I'll advertise for it, in October in Charleston. We're so glad it's in the South this time.
Yeah, that's right.
3 hours from here. I'm trying to think. Who's the girl from Charlotte?
Phyllis
Phyllis.
Brown.
Phyllis Brown is teaching a class in making handmade buttonholes, and that is probably the #1 class that I want to be in, because I want to.
Jeanette just asked that. Would you consider sewing the buttonholes by hand?
If I knew how, and I was taught how to do it properly, rather than me just reading the directions and trying to do it, yes, I would make them by hand on something like this, and then I don't have to worry about the machine, because I don't know why. But these work. But no, that's I don't care what I make. When I get ready to do the buttonholes, I always just panic, because I think, oh, this is gonna screw up. But anyway, this. None of these are hard to make. They just look a lot harder.
Okay, well, question. When you are ready to sew your laces together, well, let's say especially, maybe any of them, do you pre-shrink your lace? I wouldn't do it either. But do you starch it and press it before you start sewing, or do you just?
I usually will give it a press.
Mhm.
And one thing that I've learned because of patterns in lace, and you want things to line up the same.
Right.
And this is a technique I learned from Tricia Smith, and I do this if I'm making a fancy band. For instance, if I were doing this fancy band, let me lay it right here so you can see. If I were doing this fancy band, and I usually don't start at the top. I started with this wide piece of angel lace, and I would go to my ironing board, and I would just lay this lace out, and I would put maybe either side, it wouldn't matter, one side beside it and not stretched, and then draw perpendicular lines about, I usually just do it the width of whatever ruler I'm using, which is usually about maybe 6 inches. If I have a 6-inch ruler, 4 inches, I just draw a vertical line in blue. These dresses look like somebody that was getting this dress would shudder if they saw the dress before I washed it.
You've written all
Because
over
I
it?
have drawn all over it. It has blue marks
Oh.
all over it, and I iron on the blue marks.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I've always
Anytime-
been so afraid to do that.
No, I just iron. I use that
Wow.
one, that
Which is the style?
Mhm,
The style
pen.
Yeah.
But then, and then it
Man.
keeps your lace from stretching if you
Yeah.
will make a mark, and then you line that up as you're sewing, and then after I've sewn that maybe this row and this row together, then I'll go back to the ironing board, press, not iron but press, and then I'll put the next row, and pretty much I have these flowers in line. They may be off a little bit, but I can lay the lace and match up my line and draw a
Right,
line on this.
right.
And so it's a lot of getting up and getting down and sitting down, but it's worth it because the lace, you think it's not stretching, but if you don't have some kind of guideline, it does stretch. And for years, I never did the Tricia Smith method, which probably a lot of people have done. But that is one tip that she gives. Ooh, let's don't show that. That didn't join right there. No. We'll put
Let's
our
do a
finger over
close-up on that.
but it does keep it from stretching, and it's it just makes it prettier. I think one dress I made many years ago, I wondered why when I did all the lace at the bottom, it grew.
Right,
and,
right,
and
right.
it was because it
Yeah,
stretched.
yeah.
It really turned out. You remember that dress is the one that has like 18 rows of lace at the bottom. It's about that much lace.
Yeah.
But it was real pretty because I did it from top to bottom, and as it grew. But I'd rather it not grow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but when we kind of came up with the idea for this one, this wide lace, the angel lace, was chosen. So we did this lace, and then 2 on each side. Well, I took that much of the pattern and repeated that right here, and then I dropped the 2 on each side and did just the angel lace on this band. So it's 3 different bands, but they all kind of coordinate.
That's
and then
right.
that
Then we did
also
the same.
coordinates
Flip it
into.
around this way so they can.
Penny's got a tip for the perfect machine buttonhole.
Okay.
She says if you have an embroidery machine, get the buttonhole file from a bit of stitch, life changing.
Oh,
I've heard that. That if you just do the embroidery machine buttonholes, that works really good. I should try that. Yeah.
but not on one of these. Try it on one of your
yeah.
muslins.
I'll try it on a scrap. Well, I
Try it
always
on a
do that
scrap.
because I'm thinking, okay, if that attachment, the little thing that I sew on a Viking, and if my little thing that I put on there, I think if it's going to mess up, let's try it on this scrap first. And I try to do something that's exactly like what I'm going to, if it's 2 pieces of lace with a piece of organza between it, then I try to do my test buttonhole on that as well, so
Yeah,
that I know,
yeah.
okay, this is what I'm going to be sewing on. How are you going to act today?
That's right.
And but anyway, and then
Well, if you're using your regular machine, I mean, I always use a piece of stitch and tear
I do too.
next to between my garment and my sewing machine, and it really keeps it, holds it in place.
Yeah, like
You know,
and
it's
I've
tear
used,
away, like tear away.
I've used tearaway, and I've also used a piece of the stuff that is water soluble. You know, like the
right.
water soluble
Yeah, I
stuff
didn't
that
think about
sometimes
that.
that'll work. That works well
Yeah.
too.
Sue wants to know, how do you attach the gathered lace, by machine or hand?
Oh, by machine.
Oh yeah,
Oh, by machine.
I could answer that one for you.
But and there's a little, if you pull your little threads, and I've just gotten better because I've done it more. It used to be real hard for me to do, and I thought sometimes I would think, okay, I just need to sew this by hand, and then I figured, no, I don't want to go all the way around this sewing by hand. But there's if you use a what do you call those things, like a stiletto or something. I have a thing, I think I got it from who's the lady, Annie, that makes the quilted.
Oh right.
Yeah, she has a stiletto thing that's real sharp, and I use that little thing, and I just play with the lace because I can get it right up next to the needle, and I just move the lace around. And when I'm gathering lace on something like the neckline of this, I know that I'm going to double how much I'm going to put around it, but I don't ever cut the lace until I sew it on,
Right.
because I might need more or I might need less. So I just mark what I think would be the center and line it up in the center and gather this side and gather this side, and then start sewing. And sometimes I'll sew from the center around to each side,
Oh yeah.
but I don't cut that length of lace at all. I don't, like on those dresses, I never cut the lace that was coming down until I had sewn that piece in and measured it, and then I trimmed it, because you either you need more or you are wasting lace.
Yeah.
And so that was just a tip that
This
I
is
just will
sweet
never
with
do.
the little beading. Is it beading or is it white? No, it is a beading
It's
around
beading.
the armhole and a little ribbon coming through there. It's very sweet. And
Yeah.
then too, entredo at the shoulder seam. I love that.
We
That's-
link the stiletto. We have that.
yeah.
Oh,
that's-
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
And like I say, this is the slip to this one is well, I guess I should turn it this way.
okay.
It's just
Oh,
joined.
that looks good.
It's joined to the entredo, right? I guess they can see that. And then
That's a piece
bound
that
it.
seems great, which we can't get anymore.
We got to figure out. I don't know why they quit making it. What's Gail Doan going to do? Because, I mean, she always says, and put seam scrape. And I use it on
Well, you can maybe get tricot, really fine tricot, and cut it in strips.
that
And
crawly stuff.
well, I mean, that's kind of what that is.
Well, I know that's what it is. Somebody needs to just start.
She wants it pre-cut.
I want it pre-cut. I don't want to have to cut
Yeah.
that mess. Because mine would look nasty.
I've been trying.
Oh, well.
I've been
I
trying.
will. I'm telling you. Matter of fact, I think to make this, I called a friend, and I said, "Do you happen to have any?" Because she doesn't really sew a lot for her grandchildren anymore, and she gave me some. And
I've been digging through my old sewing stuff. I mean, surely I have an old roll of that.
but
somewhere.
I love it. I mean, because I always bind the because it just keeps it. It makes it look nice, and then it's soft. It's real
And-
soft. And baby things.
and plus
it's just
it's
so nice.
really lightweight, so it doesn't add any bulk to it.
And
at
you
all.
sew it one time, and you pull it before you sew, and you'll see the way it's going to
It
cup.
curves, yeah.
And you sew it, and then the next time it will just cup over, and you just sew it again. That was a Gail Doan trick.
Yeah, that was.
And I
that
know,
was good.
I know she mentions it in that
Yeah.
thing. So we're going to have to say we got to find that
I
stuff.
know it. I know.
I don't know why they stopped. Everywhere I go, I look for it, and I can't find it anywhere.
You need to find some old sewing place like B&B Cloth Shop. I can't.
They
believe
don't
doesn't
have. She
any.
doesn't have any either. I've asked her. I don't
Yeah.
think she even knew what I was talking about when I mentioned it. But
Or estate sales like we found before, and all their old sewing supplies.
yeah, but
I don't know.
Do you ever pull a thread in the lace together?
oh yeah, that's the way I gather it. Yeah, I just some laces gather better than others, but yeah, and sometimes if there maybe 3 or 4 threads, if you'll pull the center ones, then it's easier rather than the one right on the edge. That's a tip somebody else told me. So
Do you try and pull more than one at a time?
sometimes I'll
do?
pull 2, so if
Yeah.
one breaks, I've got a spare.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, because it makes me real
I always
mad when it
thought,
breaks.
like, with the angel lace,
it's thick.
it's
It's kinda,
thick. It's got a really thick header on it.
it does. It has a real thick header, and some, but most of the lace, I usually try not to pull the very top one because
Mhm.
sometimes it's kind of scalloped
Mhm.
like that. So, but I just take a pin and play
Yeah.
with it. So, lace is fun to play with.
It's pretty.
It is pretty.
It's like
yeah,
a winner.
yeah.
A winner.
So
All right, well, let's see. We should talk about that because you've done.
yeah, that's
We might not get to the boy things today
oh,
because
we're going to run out
because
of time.
yeah.
Well,
we're gonna
this
run out of
is
time.
now. This is what is this? It's
Satin Batiste.
Satin
This
Batiste.
is Satin Batiste.
It's satin batiste.
I'm going to go overhead so they can, because this is interesting what you've done here, but it's really cute. You know how people are afraid to do different colors?
We
Guess
did it
what?
here.
We did it, and it's pretty. So this is is a tucked insertion Swiss.
All of this is one piece. It comes like that.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And I'm gonna pull this just so they can
Yeah,
see it.
okay.
Let's see.
Right
'Cause
with the
it's
shirts.
actually in this.
And then a wide insertion on top, a less wide one here, and then a wide edging. It's really beautiful. Okay, so here you've done. we
I've
can
done
lay
it in
that
a little
out.
boy's shirt here, and it really is. Well, this is the sister to little twin boys,
Mhm.
and they wanted something to tie it together, and this is what she chose to tie everything together, and then shades of green for
Flip
Christmas.
this guy around
Oh,
towards
this
you,
way.
facing
Oh,
you,
there we go.
and then we'll bring it down this way. Look,
Okay.
there we go.
And this is still done horizontally, but oftentimes, and I thought I had one
Do
that
we have
I
one where
don't
it's
have
up
one
and-
that no, but I use this a lot in little boys' shirts and
Go
put
down the
it
front.
this way down the front
Right.
so that it's it's like this down the front.
Show.
Those are under little things, so that's why.
Isn't that cute?
But little twin boys wore. This was the sister. Twin boys wore this, and older brother wore this. And actually, his shorts.
You made this shirt, right?
Uh-huh.
I love this because look at this little loop at the top to run the suspenders through.
And big brother had the shorts, and
I'm
this
gonna do
shirt
this.
that had,
You see that this went through here. That's pretty. That's pretty.
and then this. All I did this. I just did pin tucks, and then I did a feather stitch on the. And I really think that I did this feather stitch. I can't. I think I did it on the sewing machine. It's too exact. I don't think I would have done it this well. And then this came out of a stash.
Right.
That came out of a stash of, I guess it's tatting or something.
Well, it's not tatting, but
What
it's a
is it?
nice little cotton trim with a little scallopy trim. Yeah, it's not exactly, but it gives you that impression,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sweet. We have it in white. We might still have some in ecru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this green was all for this family for Christmas. They're 4 children, twin boys, an older brother, and a little sister. And then for Easter, the twins got soft white linen with
shorts.
suspenders, and
I
big
love
brother got these shorts
Very
with their
nice.
shirt. And so it made an
Nice.
outfit that they could
Yes.
wear, and get some
Yeah.
mileage out of. And I
Now-
did line these.
You know what? You need to show what you've done to the back of these shorts because in the heirloom world, we don't always see that in the patterns. But she has done like in ready-mades where she put the buttonhole elastic in that back of the waistband, and that brought that in to make it fit
Right.
better.
I found that it's a lot easier to do that than try to fit little boys in the waist if I can do it
Yeah.
adjustable, and then they can get more mileage out of it. And I have to warn the moms though. I say if you unbutton this and don't hold on,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because actually this mom gave these shorts back to me and she said something has happened to this elastic. This waist is so big. And I said, where's the elastic? And she said, well, here's the elastic. I said, well,
Oh.
all you have to do is just take a pin and run it back through, but
Yeah.
but leave it buttoned at least on one
Yeah,
side.
that's right.
But she just didn't realize, and I thought, well, I would have thought that she had shorts like that before. But anyway, it worked out. But I love to see when they can get mileage out of things and then
Exactly.
wear it,
Yeah.
for one shirt with 2 pair of pants. These are corduroy and these are
Yeah,
linen.
That's
So
nice.
that's nice. And then little sister can have a dress that really she could wear. She wore it at Christmas, but I'm sure she
I
can wear it
know.
year round.
Absolutely.
So that's
Ooh, I
that's
love
good.
that. I love that.
But that's really about. Well, there was just, let's see. Well, I can show this real quick because this does have something different. If we got, do we have time?
Yeah. I've got a carpool today,
Okay.
so that's my.
Okay, this.
I'm back in my carpooling days. Isn't that terrible?
All right, this is Sally's. This piece right
Oh, that's
here.
a piece.
This is the. If you go on the farmhouse website, it's tucked, embroidered with hem stitch. I think because this is a hem stitch that's already on it.
But it's a trim from Capital Imports.
It's a
right?
trim, yeah, and it's this wide. I mean, it's 3 pleats wide, and so I just used it on each side here, and then I put another piece of
Swiss embroidery.
Swiss embroidery,
Yeah, that insertion with a little tiny.
and then 3
wavy.
pieces, and
I
then
love
on boys,
that.
I don't like to use flowers. I try to find
Yeah,
something geometric.
yeah.
So there, and I did not. I mean, this has fabric underneath it. I mean, I just sewed it. I've just marked the middle and sewed it. And
What shorts pattern did you use?
all right, this shorts pattern is. It's my favorite for little boys that want button-ons. Where's that pattern? I know I've got it over
Did
here.
it fall on the floor?
Yep, it did. It did. Here it is. This is it's called For the Boys by Sue Pennington Stewart.
Sue Stewart. All her stuff is like.
She was
Wonderful.
an engineer. Now she's a quilter, but her heirloom sewing and patterns are amazing. There, you can tell she's got a real engineer's mind for doing this. But these little shorts fit so nicely because they only have 2 buttons in the front, and then the back is like a little.
Oh, look at that!
It's like a little gusset right here in the back.
How cool is that?
And they fit, you know, where their little back goes down and kind of
Yeah.
goes into their
Ooh, that's pretty.
bottom.
I love that.
And they just fit really, really nice. And they're they're self-lined. I mean, you it's like it's really
This is nice.
amazing the way you turn
Well, this
them.
is cool because there's a seam right down the center back leg.
Yep, there's
That
a,
makes it fit better, right?
yep, it
Oh, I
goes right
love
down
that.
there, and then it's just that these
So
just
is Sue still selling her patterns? Maybe she's on Etsy.
I don't
Do you think
know.
she's on Etsy?
She might be. I don't know. But I mean, you could Google For the Boys by Sue Penning, and she has lots of girls' dress patterns
Yeah,
too
she
that are
does.
really, really nice.
Her
But
work is incredible.
but this, and I wish I had gotten the shirt from the girl I made this for. I took these pieces that are the 3 wide, and if you tuck one underneath this, the spacing is exactly the same. And I used about 4 of them joined together and stitched
and you
underneath.
went down.
And I did a wide thing with these going horizontal down a shirt, and then it looked like
That's-
real pretty detail,
yeah.
but they just matched up perfectly.
Wow.
And I actually think that doesn't this come? Can't you get it 3 wide and wider than this too?
I don't know. I'm
but
not
it's
sure.
really, it's really pretty,
that's,
and
that's nice.
it saves. It's a huge time saver.
Yeah.
So
Is this your tag? Oh yeah, Jane Cely.
yeah, it just says
Look
here.
at there, handmade. I love that.
Yep.
These are
But
really
I
handsome.
have to search for that. I don't see it on her website.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and you may be able to just do some kind of Etsy search or something, because I've had this pattern a long, long time, but I really, really use it, and I just like the way the fit. They fit so well, and it's not so many buttons. Usually the little buttons have 6 buttons, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and 1 on each side. And so that's a lot of buttonholes to make, and they're real boxy. These have more they have more shape to them, and
especially in the back, it's like almost like having darts.
The funny thing is, this was my little grandson. He's 8 now, but when he was little, he came to church, and
Did you have that on the
this
front?
was in the front, and these things were sticking out somewhat. I said, Oh my goodness! And it was probably on Easter Sunday.
He
and
probably thought that's how he goes to the bathroom.
I thought, no,
I was like, hey, that's
I'm
cool.
I'm not gonna blame it on his mom. I'm gonna blame it on my son.
Oh.
That my son might have dressed him and he didn't know what he was doing.
Don't blame it on your daughter-in-law. Whatever
No,
you do.
but I don't know. She may have done it too. I don't know. But I laughed and I
man,
said,
that's funny.
I guess he was in the nursery the whole time during Sunday school, and then when I said, his pants are all backwards. So we fixed it.
Oh
but
my goodness.
anyway,
Hey, James. Meg is asking if you made your blouse. She loves the sleeves.
No, we were
we,
talking
we've
about
had
that.
we've had a discussion about this, and I think I could. I just bought some fabric that I think I'm going to try to because it's easy. It's just.
And you know what? The sleeves are ruffled that are actually in the seam. That's not. It kind of looks like the sleeve is top stitched on with the ruffle.
It's a double ruffle.
And it ends right here.
And there's no facing. It's just a little tiny
Yeah.
thing. And there's no darts. And there's just a little hem. I mean,
It's
I'm
like
thinking,
you could
come
do
on,
it.
I can
You
do
could
this.
do it. You could.
I
do
really
it.
think I could. So, and this real quickly,
Yeah.
if you want to smock something quick that's cute for a little girl, get the
Katina, right?
Katina.
By
It's a
Children's Corner.
it's a children's corner. I brought it today because I had to get buttons because this is a dark. It's a deep red.
Yep.
But unfortunately, I smocked this over a year ago. My granddaughter's already outgrown it, so I guess it'll just go in the keepsake chest.
Well, I'm so terrible, but I have to go and pick up grandchildren from
Oh, that's
school,
fine.
so it's really awful. So we're going to be really quick and have a drawing, and I hate to not give Cheryl Clapp this, just talk about her one more time. Cheryl Clapp has donated, she's made these, this is in the recent magazine.
Oh,
These are pockets, and then we kind of got them shifting around. She gave these to us, and all the trims and things like that. And then we're giving you a magazine and the fabric to make the dress that's
How
in classic
neat.
sewing.
Oh,
So we have had a
that's a
big,
time saver.
Yeah, that's right. We've had a huge response. It barely fits in our bin, and I'm gonna let Jane reach in and see who our winner is today.
Okay, we'll go down deep. Let's see. All right. Oh, let's see. I would love to win the giveaway. Well, you have Grace Chelaya.
Maybe Chelya.
Chelliah. So congratulations, you did win. That's good.
And you know what? I want to mention something because last week we had some terrible thing happen. We had a scammer that went on and put a note on every single person that entered and said, and they made up a front page that looked like Farmhouse Fabrics.
Oh,
And they
no.
said, you are the winner, but they told you to put your credit card in somewhere. We would never, ever, ever do that. And so we blocked that person, and Emma did that, and she, like last Saturday, it was terrible. I'm like, Emma, what are we going to do? And then it was very frustrating, and I hate that happened to everybody. So we will contact you when you're the winner personally, and not like publicly. And so I'm sorry if that happened to you, and I don't know what to do when people are so dishonest and
Boy,
awful.
people, they don't have
I
anything
know.
better to do with their time.
I know.
That's a
They need to
shame.
learn how to sew.
Yeah, they do.
Grace is watching and she said,
Oh,
finally I won.
Grace,
Thank you guys.
good.
Oh,
That's great.
good.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Jane. And Jane
Oh.
said she'll come back,
Oh.
and so
Feeling, right?
we're excited about it. Yeah. All right.
It's
Thank
always
you.
fun. We off now?
Yeah, I've got to call Joel.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
No,
probably
no,
rattled
no.
on.
No, Joel. It's like, why did he call me?
If you have somebody that you want to get to talk a lot, you just invite me because you know I
listen,
rattle on.
I want to.
I was afraid we weren't that. I thought, oh, I'm not bringing enough stuff.
What if he's telling me? He might tell me he's getting his own kids. No, I hated to be